This is a podcast of Nathan, Nat and Shaun.
Hey, everybody.
Hi, guys.
We're on holidays at the moment.
Oh, I'm loving it.
And
Sick.
loving it.
We've gotten a collection of some of the finest work that we've done throughout the year. Oh, guys.
And then we padded it out with some rubbish.
Don't undersell it, no.
Yeah.
Don't undersell it.
And this, of course, being a live broadcast. Today's best bits are all about...
From the Vault 2014.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Oh, my God. Right to the point you are.
Enjoy.
This is Nathan, Nat and Shaun.
Now, Dr. Oz is in Oz as we speak.
Well, that makes sense, of
I
course.
think it would be his homeland, really. He's got a special report called Get Real About Your Health this week and next week, a new idea. Check that out. But he joins us right now. Good morning, Dr. Oz.
Well, good morning, my friends. How are you?
We're
Dr.
great,
Oz.
Dr. Oz.
You're like a messiah to my mother. She's one of those people that really get into watching medical shows.
Yeah.
She doesn't take up any of your advice, but she likes watching it.
That's good.
You've got medical junkies out there, don't you? They love it, don't they, Dr. Oz?
They do. They love the embarrassing questions. They love when I torture the celebs, but they mostly like when I talk about all the things they can do to be more alive in life. But if they don't follow along, it's okay too.
Yeah. Hey, interesting this morning, Dr. Oz, in our news, we've got a fact that young kids, particularly in Western Australia, are getting obese quicker than most. How are we going to get the kids up and about and eating better foods?
You know, for kids, it's all about mental resilience. It's not really about eating less and exercising more. It's more about realizing that if they can't control their bodies, they can't change the world outside of their bodies. And when they realize that, then it becomes cool to do the right things. And then they go home and guess what? They tortured their parents, which they're going to do anyway. But you might as well have them torture their parents about something that matters. Like, why do you have all this junk in the refrigerator?
Yeah.
And kids, the two primary problems are happening in Western Australia. The first is you have processed foods that make it easy for the kids to eat the wrong things.
Yep.
And the second thing is we made it more difficult to go outside and play. When we were kids, our parents said, go outside and play till it's dark and don't be late.
Yeah.
Now everything gets choreographed to the minute, and so they just can't go out there and run around and do crazy things that historically is what kids always did.
It's crazy, isn't it? Because we used to be out
That's a really good point.
Yes.
until way past like 8 o'clock when we were in primary school and stuff like that, which just would not fly these days.
No, it wouldn't.
Hey, Dr. Oz, you seem to have a stomach of iron when you're doing this show because some
Yes.
of the stuff you see is pretty gross. Has there been something that someone has shown you that you've gone, I'm not touching that?
That's the grossest thing I've seen.
Yeah, I've had some interesting testicles on the show.
Yes.
So we.
People, they're literally, that's right, literally giving their left nut to come on the program, and it is uncomfortable. Those things, and sometimes the intestinal stuff gets a little bit goopy, like fissures and hemorrhoids and that kind of fun stuff. But listen, at the end of the day, the reality is, folks ask questions they wouldn't have been asked their own doctor because they know that when I answer them, we'll have 5 million people at the same time say, "Oh my goodness, I'm glad I learned that." And so it's actually a very altruistic thing, even though it's a little bit ooky sometimes.
Yeah, the one person who's asking the question has to be the gutsy one
I
who
know,
represents
right.
everybody else who's suffering the same problem.
Yeah.
Hey, Dr. Oz, one of the things in my household at the moment with my young kids, one of my sons, he always gets pains here and there in his knees, and I'm wondering about growing pains. Is it a real thing that can affect them on different days? Is it a real
comes
thing?
and goes, yeah.
It's actually a big debate in medicine about whether they're real or not. I personally believe they are, and I've had, we have 4 children. I brought a bunch of them with me. It's my birthday, by the way.
Happy birthday!
Yeah, it's my birthday. So Oz came to Oz to celebrate. Where else should you go? And I brought the kids with me, and you listen to them, and they, especially when they're going through those growth spurts when they're ages 5 to 12 or so.
Yep.
There'll be times when they get up and say, "My whole body hurts." We think that it's actually the muscles being stretched over the bones.
So the
Okay.
bones are growing first and then the muscles have to catch up?
Exactly, and those muscles need to be stretched and lubricated and loosened. So for our kids, and it worked pretty well, we would put heating pad on the areas where the muscles hurt, and then we'd stretch them out like you would in gym class.
Yeah.
Okay.
And massage their muscles. So even if it doesn't cure the problem, they feel good that you're touching them and relaxing them. The other thing we gave with our kids was omega-3s, which are great for adults as well. Omega-3 fats are wonderful for joint pain across the board, but they help with inflammation. And there's a lot of folks don't like to take omega-3 pills. Now you can get them from calamari even because it's a very sustainable source to have.
Yep.
We're not destroying the oceans to get them.
Yep.
So find a source of omega-3s you like. Make it part of your diet, and we give it to the kids also because it helps their IQ. That's why all infant formula has to have omega-3s in it. And so we would give that to them, and that helped reduce some of the inflammation and some of the growth pain issues.
Can't hurt with your gene, Sean.
You're
to
not wrong
increase the
now.
IQ.
I can't argue that point.
Hey, Dr. Oz, who's your doctor? Do you have a doctor? Do you need a doctor?
Believe it or
You're a
not.
doctor.
Well, my main doctor is my wife, Lisa, who's like most families. My wife is the real healer. So whenever I have headaches or stomach belt, she makes some kind of tummy tea for me, and I feel better. But I have a medical doctor. His name is John LaPook. He happens to be the doctor for one of the big news channels, and he was my doctor before he started doing the news, and I was his patient before I started doing my show.
That's a bit freaky, really,
Yeah,
isn't it?
That's great.
It is crazy.
Hey,
And his name really is Dr. LaPook, like La Poop, and he's a gastroenterologist, so he deals with poop all day.
That's
It's
pretty
just,
funny.
you couldn't make this stuff up.
No,
You know,
no,
some doctors really luck out on names.
Yes.
In Kalgoorlie, where I'm originally from, Dr. Oz, there was a couple of doctors on the roster at one time, and one was Dr. Donald Duck, and
Correct.
the other one was Dr. Butcher.
Oh my goodness! I have Dr. Blood, one of my colleagues.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, that's
Dr.
dicey, isn't it? Hey, do you ever Google symptoms, Dr. Oz?
Oh, of course. Look, like every family, I actually diagnosed my wife recently. She had this weird rash in her foot, and I Googled it, and I found something that looked like it, and I did my homework, and then I sent it to a colleague of mine who's a specialist in that area, and I had made the right diagnosis. I was so proud of myself.
Oh, good on you,
What
Dr.
sort of
Oz.
hideous fungal infection did she have?
No, it's this weird kind of eczema that you put cream on it, it gets better, but it looked like a fungus, but it wasn't because it didn't have the same kind of scaliness. That's what you do. Listen, at the end of the day, most of medicine is basic, just logic. So when you go to a doctor, don't be intimidated. We know a couple extra words here and there, but the basics of why we do what we do is all pure logic. And if you ask a doctor, for example, why do I need that test, and they can't tell you how it's going to change your treatment, don't get the test.
Oh.
Ooh,
Yeah,
okay,
right.
good advice.
Hey, Dr. Oz, when you see yourself on TV, you're as fit as a fiddle. What's your routine like daily? Do you get up and have a run every morning?
I do yoga in the morning. I do this little 7 to 10 minute exercise, which includes some calisthenics. So I do push-ups and sit-ups. If I have time, I'll go running. I do enjoy it, but if I have a lot of time, what I really like doing is playing basketball and tennis.
Okay.
Because I'd much rather beat somebody. Get my mind off the discomfort I feel.
Awesome.
I love it. All right, before we let you go, can you just give us one nugget of, like, if we were going to make one lifestyle change that's going to, make us live longer and healthier, what would it be?
Let me give you two, right?
Okay.
They're both short. The first is cut out the white foods. White rice, white flour, white pasta, white sugar. All those white foods are simple carbohydrates.
Yeah.
And they mess with your hormones. They make you fat, but they'll also make you foggy. They'll mess up how alert you are. And
Okay.
the second tip is give your heart a reason to keep beating. Because if you do, it will.
Okay.
Oh, Dr. Oz, I'm writing that. That's
Sage
awesome.
advice,
That was
Dr.
deep.
Oz.
Yeah,
that
it
was
was.
deep. You're getting smarter as you get older, obviously. Happy birthday.
She just called
today.
you old, Dr. Oz. Did you hear that?
I wrote that one down.
Happy birthday, buddy.
Yeah, happy
Happy birthday, my friends. Take care.
The Nathan, Nat and Sean podcast.
Bit of an honour last night.
Yeah, I know.
We pulled the overtime
That's right. You know
We
what?
did.
Yeah, we came back to work when it was dark
in the evening.
in the
Oh,
evening.
my God.
Normally we're here when it's dark in the morning, but there's only certain people we would do that for.
That's right.
Let's face it.
And one of them, of course, is F1 champ Daniel Ricciardo.
Perth's own. Let's have a listen.
Daniel, you are a hero! Oh, my God.
We don't ring that bell for anyone.
All right. Thanks, guys.
It's the highest honour.
Well, I said earlier on, you are Duncraig's finest, and I know everyone at Newman College, they've got you.
They
You're the
claim
best. You're the best student that's ever gone through there. Are you happy with that mantle?
Yeah, I don't know if I was the best behaved student, but I'll take it.
Actually, what were you like at school, Dan? Clearly you were quite obsessed with cars. What were you like as a student?
I was okay. I was pretty fidgety. Couldn't really sit down or concentrate for too long. But I did enough. I did enough to get by.
And ironically, now you have to sit down a lot and concentrate a lot.
Yeah, exactly. So I think I found something I enjoyed doing whilst sitting down. So it worked out well.
Daniel, one of the most coveted items here in Nova is the free Red Bull fridge. Everyone thinks it's just this untapped mine that just keeps growing
It's
and
magical.
growing.
It is magical.
It's a
refills.
wonderful, wonderful well. Do you have a lot of Red Bull at your house?
I do. That makes two of us. I get a pretty good supply coming through. So yeah, the fridge always has enough in there. to go buy for myself and for visitors.
Well, the perks of being an F1
I know.
driver.
You must never be tired. Your house must be spotless.
It works well. It helps with the jet lag.
Yeah, I bet. Hey, Dan, can you tell us or talk us through those last 2 laps when you hit the lead? It was almost some massive carnage, including you getting taken out. But once you hit the lead, what was that feeling like at that moment?
It was, I don't know. I mean, it felt very real. I mean, I knew obviously everything that was happening, but at the same time, it was still, I don't know, a bit surreal. Basically, the biggest thing was what I kept telling myself was just control all the adrenaline that was going through me at that stage. So just make sure I was still breathing and just hitting my marks on the track and just making sure I was still getting the basics right. But yeah, controlling the rush was probably the most tricky thing.
Yeah, because the only thing I got to compare it to is playing Mario Kart. And when you get in the lead...
It's the same.
No, but when you get in the lead and someone's behind you, it's like, oh my God, I don't want them to pass me. So that just must be so stressful, just keeping your eye on... Do you have a rearview mirror? You do, don't you?
Yes.
Do I have a rear view mirror? Did you say?
Yeah, you do have a rearview mirror, don't you? I don't know the rules.
Yeah, we got side mirrors.
Oh, well, that's good.
For a banana peel, we can't throw banana peels out though.
Wouldn't that be awesome? Drop a couple of tortoise shells, a banana peel here and there. That would be absolutely brilliant.
Oh, dear God.
Hey, Dan, so you've won the race. You got the chance to get up on the podium and be that person standing in the number 1 position, and then they spray you with champagne. What was that feeling like?
That's not fun, is it, that bit?
It was, when they first sprayed, it was fun, but when they continued to the point where I was
Drowning.
struggling for breath, yeah.
Because after a while, it does look like a scene from Guantanamo Bay.
It does look like they're waterboarding you, basically.
Yeah.
It was a bit like that, but you know what? It was obviously all in a special moment, all in good fun. So I'd happily go through that feeling again.
Yeah, lap it up.
Because it does look great. It's a big celebration. But here's a question. How long do you stay in champagne clothes for afterwards? Like, because you're doing a lot of press straight afterwards.
So we go from the podium to the official sort of press conference and then to more sort of open media sessions. So I was, let's say, the race would have finished around 4 p.m. I would have got out of those clothes at probably 7 p.m.
Oh, man.
You would have stank like a wino.
I felt pretty bad. Yeah, it was not very nice.
Now, speaking of your team, I have to ask the obvious question. Are you and Sebastian besties?
Well, let's just say, I mean, besties is a bit much. I mean, no competitor is a bestie. But
sure,
I've been very impressed with let's say the amount of respect he's shown me this year.
And he gave you a big manly hug.
It looks like he genuinely likes you.
He does, and he didn't have that rapport at all with Mark Webber.
Yeah, it's definitely. I guess they basically had their differences, but I haven't experienced anything like that with him, and obviously we're still going to continue to race each other hard on the track and all the rest of it. But he genuinely was happy for me on the weekend, and I could see that, and he showed it as well. So no, I gained a lot of respect for a lot of drivers over the weekend. A lot of them came up to me and gave me a handshake, a hug, a high five. It was a nice touch. So yeah, it's been really good from all of them.
I think it's probably safe to say they gained a fair bit of respect for you.
Yeah.
Do you have a F1 Kris Kringle at the end of the year where you're a Secret Santa where you buy presents for one another?
Like cans of armor roll and
yeah.
stuff.
I don't know. I did receive a Christmas card from Sebastian last year, which
did it have a scratchy in it?
Said, Merry Christmas and no scratchy. It was just a Christmas card. It just said look forward to being teammates, but I don't know. We'll see.
It's nice, but he's a multi-millionaire, so he should have bought you at least a carton.
a carton of export.
Yeah, now we're talking.
Yeah. It's the gift that keeps on giving, Dan.
Hey, Dan, can I ask you about you speaking to your parents after the race? No doubt that would have been amazing to sit in their shoes and see their son after the amount of times they've driven you to do the go-karting here in Perth, and then having you leave the nest and go overseas and being able to let you go and do that and and fulfill your dreams. It must have been an amazing experience for them.
Yeah, it was. It was. Unfortunately, they weren't there in Canada, but yeah, I spoke to them a few hours after the race once it all settled down, and they were still awake. I think they'd done an all-nighter. And yeah, they were I think as sort of, you know, shocked, I guess, as I was, or just in a bit of disbelief. And it was just nice. I could definitely you know, feel their presence from a long way away, and yeah, just a really, really good moment. I probably won't see them now for a few months, but I'm sure when I do, we'll have a drink.
Hey, Dan, the next race is in Austria. Is this, I think it's Spielberg, but has that been renamed, that track, to Red Bull?
Yeah. So it's come back onto the F1 calendar. It's been out for a number of years, and so yeah, Red Bull's bought the facility, and it's called the Red Bull Ring. So it's pretty much the home race for the team, and it's going to be pretty big. I think there's going to be a lot of crazy Red Bull fans there supporting us.
Oh, they're going to go bananas. And I know you probably would have heard already, and I know you're a massive West Coast Eagles supporter. What are your thoughts on Darren Glass retiring? Has it hit you hard?
You know, I mean, it's always sad when someone retires, but, you know, I think he had a very solid career, and, you know, that's all you can sort of ask for. And, you know, I'd love to retire one day knowing that I'd had a solid one, and, you know, I wish him all the best for what comes next. And yeah, hopefully the boys can, I don't know, give him a bit of a push in a different way maybe, and get a few more wins on the board. But no, I wish Glassy well, and definitely had a solid career, so he should be proud.
Nathan, Nat, and Shaun.
Have a little listen to this.
That's right. So everyone's probably going now, okay, that's the Beatles.
Yeah, take us back to the 60s.
It's not. That's We Are Done by the Madden Brothers. Joel and Benji, join us now. Hello.
Hello.
Oh,
G'day,
Liverpool.
guys.
That is
Hey,
so
guys.
different.
Thanks.
In a good way.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks. We worked on it for a long time. You know, we've been working on this record, Greetings from California, for almost 3 years, and We Are Done. We thought that would be a good kind of lead-off song to give people an idea of how different this record is, and how you know, some of the sounds on the record, you know, are maybe different than anything that's out right now. And we're glad that so far it's been an amazing reaction. So we're really happy.
Yeah.
Well, I responded really well to the song, and then thought, well, I need to see the film clip. Well, there's not one made yet.
It's coming out. It's actually made, but it'll be out in a couple weeks.
Don't
It'll
make
be
us hang on
out.
too long.
Well, we won't. The lyric video is coming out this week. Yeah, the lyric
Oh,
video.
great. Good karaoke, home.
Tuesday. But the video's coming out at the end of the month. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, this album, as you said, has been in the works for 3 years. How many songs, guys, did you write for this? Because you've got two. You got two
Sides.
Yeah,
sides
there's
to this?
two sides to the record, and then one side, the first side of the record, We Are Done, is on the first side, and we kind of liken it like we were listening to a lot of like Brian Wilson, Phil Spector records, and kind of it was like a studio kind of experimental pop side, and then the second side we did live. Kind of like more in the vein of maybe like the Eagles or Steely Dan or something.
Yeah, right.
We had Joe Ciccarelli, who did, you know, White Stripes and Young the Giant. And
He did that Boy and Bear record too that I love.
Yeah, right.
Oh, yeah, that killed it.
So he helped us put together just this crazy band of,
And we did write a ton of songs, but and I mean we wrote so many songs for this album over the last 3 years, but there's only about 13 on the record though, so.
Oh, wow.
12 or
So you
13.
can
only the good ones made it.
Yeah,
Only the
sure.
good ones.
But you need to bring out a record of slops then.
Yeah.
Like the Madden Brothers slops.
Yeah,
Roses
maybe one day, but the good songs made the record.
Or do
Interesting.
you palm them off to other people, to other artists?
Yeah, sometimes we do that. We actually do have a few songs coming out with other artists this summer that we gave some of the songs that we had written to other guys. Some of the songs we didn't feel fit the record. You know.
Can you name drop a few for us?
We got a song coming out with 5 Seconds of Summer, guys.
Yeah,
well, we just played that a second ago.
Our little brothers, our little Australian brothers.
They're like they remind me of Good Charlotte on the first album.
Yeah, right.
right, okay.
Hey, so when you
Love
guys...
those boys. Those boys are great. Those
Love
boys
those
are the
guys.
best, man.
When you
And
guys
you know what? They're really nice kids, man.
Are they? Good.
You'd be proud. You guys would all be proud. I always tell you'd all be very proud of them when they have a great time, but they always have their manners on them. So it's great to see kids.
We do like boys.
Love
with
them
manners.
boys. Yeah, they get wild, but they still are good. They're still good dudes.
It's harmless.
Now it seems like you're covering up for something.
you just pushed it a little bit too far.
You've gone too full circle there.
Yes.
Hey, you guys are basically Australia locals
Yes.
now.
Yeah.
When people go over to America, they fall in love with certain things. Some people go, "Oh, well, I just fell in love with In-N-Out burgers." They'll fall in love with Hershey.
They're great.
And all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, a lot of good stuff.
What about here? What have you fallen in love with from here that you haven't got back in the US?
I personally think that Australia has the best coffee in the world.
Best coffee.
Really?
I just think that we do.
Nobody
here.
touches you guys on coffee.
We're a bit
Yeah.
snobbish with our coffee too, though. A bit obsessive about
And
it.
I've actually started saying we a lot, so I go like, yeah, we have the best coffee here. Whenever
Okay.
whenever my friends are visiting from the U.S., because there's always like bands or people here, and when I'm in Sydney, I'll always see people come from the U.S. that I know, and I'm always like, yeah, we have great coffee here. I gotta take you to my favorite coffee place. We really pride ourselves. I
the
find baristas here. It's a real art here. The baristas. I mean, they take their time, and my friends. I was like, all right.
I find myself talking about the weather a lot.
Yeah.
So
That's
when
a very
someone
Australian
comes,
thing to
and
do.
when the weather's not good, I'm super bummed.
Yeah.
And like you get off the plane and like everyone's like, "Oh, you guys brought the good. You're gonna have some great weather this week."
I'm responsible for that. Yeah. Thank you.
And I kind of find myself now, spending so much time here. When I have friends come over, or if the weather's bad, I'm like really bummed.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know.
I'm pissed. Actually, I'm not bummed. I'm actually angry.
Yeah, because you want to
Pissed
show
off.
everything off.
They're like, you guys get so angry over
I
the
use
weather.
there's very Australian words and things to say that make it in my
Joel, we're
my
at home.
vocabulary.
We're at home,
And they don't translate at home. They actually sometimes offend people. Yeah, they offend people sometimes.
well,
when-
Joel says to people like, they hey
I
Joel,
can't-
Joel, do you want to go get some dinner tonight? And Joel's like, can't be bothered.
Yeah, right.
And they're like, what do you mean you can't be bothered? You can't be bothered by me? What, am I bothering you? I'm sorry, Joel.
Sorry if I'm bothering
I'm
you.
bothering you again. I'm like, sorry, dude.
So, Joel, do they also think that when you go back home, you've got an Australian accent to the way you talk these days? Because you have been here on and off for a while.
It came with the Logie.
No accent.
The Logie, I carry it around actually with me. It's my baby. It's like you to meet my Logie. This is my. I call him the So which is a great thing. Walking around LA with a Logie is
way to impress people in LA.
Yes, but when I run into Australians, which is very often, they all get to hold the Logie. Take a picture with the Logie.
Yeah.
Okay,
But,
honestly, talk to us about the Logie. Where is the Logie?
The Logie it's at my house.
Yeah.
It's actually at my studio. It's on the little
Shelf.
accomplishment shelf. It's a really small one.
It's a very small shelf.
shelf in the studio, and
So it's
I
pride
have a
of
couple
place.
of awards, couple of my awards there.
I mean, well deserved
Yes.
for you to get that Logie. But I'm
Thank
guessing
you.
now, Benji.
Yeah.
Pressure's on you, mate.
I mean, the Voice Kids kicks off next week, and
I'm trying to get a Logie.
if you don't get a Logie,
That's never gonna happen for you, Ben.
Embarrassing.
and you got to get
Joel,
a Logie
did you hear that?
because
Did you hear what Joel just said?
What?
Joel just said it's never going to happen for you, Bench.
oh,
Sorry.
Game on.
Look, I happen to think that I do okay on TV.
Yeah, but people they're not as charmed. It's over. It's like the moment's gone. Like
You took that one.
Yeah, it took the moment. I stole
Like the
it.
Madden
It's
brothers
shut
are
it
never
down.
going to win two Logies.
Shut it down. Yeah, never gonna happen.
Like, you
now,
could never dream of
like
winning two.
you first meet you when
We're not gonna have twin Logies. It's not gonna happen.
Okay,
So
all right. Well,
sorry, Bench.
you know what? I'm okay with that.
Hey, it's in our
Can't be
nature,
bothered
though,
anyways.
just to
Can't be
spite you,
bothered.
Joel, and vote for Benji. We're like that. We could do that.
It is. It is true. The tall puppy. They might
Yeah.
get me. They might.
They might want to show you that
They
you're.
might go,
that you're
oh, we're gonna show you, mate.
you're not the better twin.
Really don't like Joel the way he's talking to Benj right now. I like it.
Bit of a tall puppy, huh?
Nice work, fellas.
Yeah. So, but yeah, at home when I'm at home in LA, I do use some words, and you know what though, there are some words that just don't cover certain things that you only have here. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like to say you can't be bothered with something isn't offensive. It's just like
it's Australia.
just the truth. Just being honest with someone, and like I love it that that is very Australian. There are some very Australian things that have rubbed
Like
off
the
on me.
tall poppy, which we've
Yeah.
been using
Yeah.
around the house since Joel's come home from Australia.
Cut him down. Cut him down.
The poppy's home.
Get the blade.
yeah.
Exactly. Get the
Anyway,
blade.
yeah.
Okay,
So,
well, all
I
I've
got
got-
you guys. We love it though. You know, I love it over here. It's definitely like my second home, and I feel very lucky to be able to come here and do a show like The Voice, and to have this experience. Not everyone gets to come to Australia and get to have the experience I've had. So and that Benj and I have been having the last few years. So it's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah,
Oh,
definitely.
you're ours now.
yeah, we're claiming
Yeah.
it. That's it.
Exactly. Now, okay, everyone go get all the Madden Brothers new gear because it's brilliant, and that whole new sound from them's amazing. But
I
really,
know.
what we've learned about that whole interview is hashtag Logie for Benji.
Yes. Thank you.
Actually,
Thank
what we wanna
you. You
push.
guys really get
So
me.
the album's out October 3rd, everybody. It's called Greetings from California. But Benji will be collecting his Logie roughly
Logie for Benji.
late April, early May next year. Well done.
15.
Guys, I'm really excited about it. And you know what? In all seriousness, we did spend a few years on this record, and we really appreciate the support. It just to come out with a new, especially 15 years in from when we put out
Yeah.
our first record.
Yeah.
To
We
put
thought
out
you
a
were
record.
washed up, to be honest.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Well, sometimes I thought so.
I've been telling everyone for the last 3 years I'm working on music. I
We
promise.
just thought
I
you
still
couldn't
do
be
music.
bothered anymore.
Yeah, no, we've been working on it.
So to come out with a record this far in, to have the support that this record's getting, it means a lot. So thank you guys so much.
Good on you guys. Love the
Great
new
to
sound.
talk to you as always.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Gotcha, boys.
You're listening to Nathan, Nat and Shaun.
This flight attendant has written a book about his life in the first class cabin and how glamorous and all the stuff that happens behind that curtain that we never get to
No,
see.
we don't.
But the most horrendous flight he ever took was when getting on board was his boyfriend, his partner. They'd been together for some time. He used to see him every time he was in Hong Kong.
Yep.
Trouble was the boyfriend came aboard with his wife.
It was
Scandalous.
unbelievable.
And he had to be nice to her for the whole flight.
We want to know what happened when your partner walked in with their partner.
Michelle's in Subi. Hi, Michelle.
Hi, how you
Hi,
going?
Hi,
Now,
Michelle.
talk us through the situation. What happened?
Okay, well, I had been living with someone for a good 12 months.
Yeah.
Things, for some reason, started to get a little bit strange. I just thought it was just we're going through a rough time.
Yeah.
And he asked me to probably move back in with my parents for a little bit, and I thought, okay, that's fine. But before I left, I looked through some of his paperwork just because it was really strange. We'd known each other for 5 years, always been best friends. This was really odd. And I found a flight ticket that he'd booked for someone to come here to Australia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, I was very curious and didn't let on to the fact that I knew about this, and I went to the airport at the same time.
You're
Yes.
sleuthing. That's what you're doing.
Yeah, and I know it's not exactly what you guys asked for, but anyway, he greeted a woman at the airport who I found out right then that it was actually his wife that he'd married months previous. So while we were together, he had actually gone back to where he's originally from, got married, come back, continued the relationship, and then was trying to play us both at the same time.
Oh,
so
my God, Michelle.
When you see that, you're at the airport, he doesn't know you're there, you see that. Did you approach him there? Did you wait? What happened?
Oh, no, I approached him there.
Yeah, you did.
I saw red. I mean, we'd been friends for 5 years.
Yeah.
I'd actually been overseas myself, and I actually left to come back to be with him because we thought, okay, finally we're just going to be together. It's going to be good. Get our stuff together. And, within a couple of months he'd gone home for a holiday, got married, come back, and continued to string me along until 2 weeks before she arrived.
Then you thought something was
And
up.
he was just moving you out back to your parents' house so that his wife could move in for a while.
Well, indefinitely, I'm assuming. But the worst thing is that right before he asked me to move out, he got me to redecorate the house.
Oh, Michelle.
I spent hours putting
Michelle.
furniture together. It was just shocking. Worst person on earth, pretty much.
What a
That is
jerk.
an outrage.
Michelle, when you had the showdown at the airport, was it really screamy stuff going on, pointing and that?
No, because I felt sorry for her. She married him. I mean, I got a pay at least.
That's very nice of you.
But I got my revenge later against him, but not against her. I mean, I wasn't. I just know, more or less. But
Can you just describe for me, Michelle, the look on his face when you have shown yourself at the airport?
terror.
Terror.
Pure
yeah.
terror. Yeah, because the thing is, I had so much evidence that we'd been together. He could never have denied it.
Yeah.
You know.
Wow.
No,
Imagine
Michelle.
having that life that Michelle had with him. You've got a full-on solid life with someone and you would never even think that was happening.
That they have a wife in another
That's
country.
incredible.
Hey guys, don't marry someone else
Don't.
if you're living with a girl.
Yeah.
Just a tip.
Nathan, Nat and Sean in podcast form.
So here's the deal. A flight attendant was working his thing in the first class cabin on a
Yep.
Qantas flight. His boyfriend comes on board.
Yep, of years. Boyfriend of years.
They've been together for a long time.
that's terrific.
The trouble is the person accompanying that boyfriend on the flight is the boyfriend's wife.
Unbelievable. They broke up. Don't worry about
Not
that.
surprisingly.
Yes.
It'd be hard to get past.
But we're just talking about the initial shock of realising that your partner's walked in with their partner when you thought you were their
Their
partner.
partner. Carla's in Ellenbrook. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Carla.
What happened?
Well, I was working for this company and we had new flooring going down. And I met the subcontractor and he was, not too bad. So started seeing each other and it's probably been just over 6 months. And we'd gone on holiday together. We'd, spend weekends together. We'd spent a lot of time together. And I had to go away for work. So I went away. And the whole week we're calling each other and, he's like, let's
Texting.
meet up on the Friday when you get back.
Yeah.
And, texting and everything. It gets to Friday and I arrive back in town and I can't get hold of him. And I'm like, okay, well, that's a bit weird. Well, we were going to go out. I'll go out with my friends. We'll just meet up with him. Night goes on, still can't get hold of him, I'll stuff him. I'll just, catch up with him later. I'll just go out and have a good time. Anyway, walk into this pub, and there he is with this other chick.
Yes.
And his friends come up and try and waylay me and tell me, no, don't come here.
Yes.
Because it's his fiancée that he'd been with for over 2 years.
So hang on,
Carla.
but his friends knew that he was seeing you as well.
And his friends have spent time with me and him.
Do you know what? There is a
Friends
situation.
stand by and let that happen.
Because those friends obviously have got his back, but those friends don't respect females.
No,
I
that's
think
right.
that's what it is. If they're not telling you anything, they're not telling her anything.
Yeah.
That's a lack of respect for a female.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
Exactly.
Carla, can I ask you, I'm sure you would have thought, how did he have the time to
Yes.
spend all this time with me and then also have a fiancé? How does that...
I don't know. I do not know. But I tell you what, I went up and gave him a piece of my mind to let him know who I was.
Oh, brilliant.
I mean, she deserved to know what was going on.
She deserved
Stuff
it.
it, Carla. Yeah, you're right.
So, there was one good thing that happened of it, is that as I'd had my rant and gone off, and his friends sort of escorted me out of the pub, I bumped into another guy, and I'm now married to him. It's been 7 years.
That's
So we had a good ending.
Like one door closes and another
Exactly.
opens, literally at that moment.
Exactly.
That's
But it gave me
amazing.
great pleasure because next morning the guy contacted me to try and make up. Yeah, he contacted me and tried to talk me around, and I had great pleasure in telling him what I thought of them.
I bet.
Carla, well done.
God.
That is an unbelievable
Thank you.
tale.
Can
Thank
Can you ring someone the next day and say,
No,
oh,
you can't,
Okay.
Sean. No, you can't.
No,
Write
you
that
can,
down
but
as
don't
well.
worry.
It's too
Ali's
much.
in Lakelands. Hi, Ali.
Hello.
Hi, Ali.
Ali, what
Good.
happened to you?
I started a relationship with actually a guy I went to school with in primary school. Hadn't seen him for nearly 15 years, and he asked me to move to the Northern Territory for him.
Yes.
So I did. I gave up everything and moved there, and everything was great for a few months. And then it got weird. He was never home. He worked shift work, so
Yep.
he wasn't home normally. And then he was going to Brisbane for a concert, and he asked me to drop him off at the airport.
Okay.
So I dropped him off, and I thought, this is weird. Why can't I go in? So I went and parked the car, and I had a friend that actually worked in Qantas Club. And I waved at her, and she let me in. I walked in, and he's sitting there with his boss, who he had been sleeping with not only for about 5 months before I moved to Alice, but the whole time I'd been there.
And so they were going off to Brisbane to see a concert together while you're dropping him at the airport.
So, Ali, did you go and
Ali.
confront them?
I did. I walked over and gave her a piece of my mind because she knew all about me.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the
This-
worst.
and when
Yeah.
he's asked you to move interstate and give up everything in your hometown so that you can be with him, and he's already seeing somebody else.
Yeah,
What
he'd already been
a
seeing her.
swine.
Hey, was
Funny thing is,
Yeah.
Yeah.
still yesterday, he still sent me a message, and it's been over about nearly a year and a half since I left.
Oh, well, some
Sent
guys
you a
just like to keep
message.
every option open,
I
don't
know.
they?
This
Even
option's
though
not
it
open.
sounds
Is
like
it,
a
Ali?
scumbag.
It's not an open.
Shut the doors, Ali.
Ali,
Oh, God,
extraordinary.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
You deserve better. You can do better. There's better out there.
I honestly didn't think we'd get many people calling about this, but
It's
the phones
disturbing
have rung
how
off the
many
hook.
people.
I know. I know.
Don't do this. If you're with somebody and you want to be with someone else, break up with the first person.
I write it down the first part, Natalie. You said don't marry someone else.
Good. It's
right.
good advice, isn't
So
it?
that's the first point.
Thank you.
Nathan, Nat and Sean is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcasts.com.au.